Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to go over some of the rules and protected VA disability ratings with you. I'm Combat Craig. I'm an accredited VA claims agent.
No, you're not, Craig. No, you're not.
Oops.
You're just here to make the VA's life a living hell, but let's not put fake terms in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not accredited, but you are, so
Yeah.
that's good. So we have some protections in place. VA claims are all about strategy. I preach and I teach strategy in my boot camp. Check it out at combatcraig.com. Let's start with the VA 5-year rule.
So Craig, I mean, basically what they try to do is show that if you have been service connected with a rating for 5 years, the VA can't just come in and take it away. They have to show that, through the course of time, your disability's gotten better. So what does that mean to you? That means that they come in and they give you one C&P exam and reduce you. That is illegal. They have to have at least 2 exams over a period of time showing, okay, this has definitely gotten better, and therefore we can reduce you. So if you've been reduced and you have over 5 years of having had that claim, sorry, it's kind of looking backwards, but if you've had that claim for 5 years and they reduce you on one exam, you need to go back, and that's actually where I'd file Q, because
I was going to say, you use the word illegal, and it's going to flash on the screen with bells on it, and I was like, that sounds like a big word you're using.
Yeah.
So that would be a clear and unmistakable error.
It's an illegal reduction, yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so 5 years, so they can't just do it out of the blue or with one exam. Like they actually need to show, they call it material improvement, sustained improvement.
Exactly, sustained improvement.
Like they need to show that you're actually getting better.
You didn't just have one great day that they caught you on. It's like, no, you're consistently better. Because a lot of times we'll see that, guy has a bad back. Well, one day back might be doing great. Next day he's in bed because he's having a flare up.
All right, so let's go down a little bit farther. So 5 year, I've had this rating for 5 years. At the 5.5 mark, they sent me to 2 C&P exams. Can they take it all away if I'm between year 5 and 6? Can they just take everything?
They can take it away.
If they have the proof.
If they have the proof, they can take it away. If you literally do what you just said and give you exams back to back, I would argue that that's not over time. That's over a week, which is not time. And
good point.
But no, they
do that. I'm sure they've been caught doing it.
But they can't. They do have the authority, unfortunately, to take it away.
If you've reviewed all the medical evidence and you know you're missing something to establish service connection, like a diagnosis or a nexus, you might want to check out my med team. There's a link in the description. They can help you with your missing medical evidence. Let's go to the 10-year rule. Once you've had a rating for 10 years, can they take my rating and how many C&P exams and what can they do to me if I'm on year 11? And I'm protected under the 10-year rule.
I mean, they can always take your benefits, right? But it's the longer you've had them, the more benefits you get. So after 10 years, unless they can show fraud, they can't sever or take away the service connection part, okay? They can still reduce you to 0. If you had the 70% for PTSD and they say, we think you are completely healed, totally better, they can put you down to 0, but they can't disconnect, if you will, the service connection. So that means that you can go back in tomorrow and argue about rating, not whether something happened in service.
I don't like that. That's why I like the 20-year rule. Because basically, since this is about money, if you knock me from 70 to 0, that doesn't make me feel very protected. So 5-year rule, 10-year rule, they can knock you down, but not sever service connection. 20-year rule. What is the 20-year rule?
20-year rule is what you want to be. 20, basically, you've had 20 continuous years of the same service-connected rating, okay? Once you reach that, VA cannot touch that rating unless they can prove fraud. So that is wonderful. And, Craig and I argue a lot about whether, if you got a good rating, do you file a new claim or not? Do you just go away? If you have a 20-year protected rating and you think it should be higher, you're playing with house money if you file a higher rating. Because they can't reduce you. And that's a beautiful thing.
SMCs, you can file claims that pay nothing. I'm going to do all this stuff. I can't wait till I have 16 more years. I'm going to file claims probably for every day for absolutely no reason. Don't do that, but I will. The 20-year rule. So here's a scenario. So I've had my 30% rating for 10 years. I realize that that's too low.
at year 15, I get an increase to 70, whole thing's protected, or is it staged?
Only the 30.
Okay, so only the 30. So 30 and it's not like there's a ticker. But there is kind of, right?
Right,
The 30 is protected. If it gets increased,
Yeah.
the clock restarts.
Exactly.
Right. So be careful with
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah, I would say this, Craig. I know Craig's done a video or two on the code sheet, the rating codes that you have that you can download from the VA, or you can ask them to get a copy of your latest rating decision code sheet. Why it's important for many things. It tells you what your ratings are, what you were denied for, what you were service connected
Your
for.
special monthly compensation is broken down. Yeah.
All that stuff. But it will also do exactly what Craig just said. And let's say that you got rated 15 years ago.
Oh, mine's like that. I have a mental health rating at 50 and then 70, and it shows my protections.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
So from 15 years ago, so 2007, it shows 50%. Well, then he got an increase to 70 in 2020. That 15 years applies to the 50. But we're starting to clock over again on the 70.
And that's the only place you can actually officially see these is the rating code sheet. And you're right. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Check out
it's huge.
His video.
Get your rating code sheet.
Yes.
Yeah, always. And that would be nice if they just included that with the decision letter.
Oh, no, we wouldn't want to confuse you, poor veteran.
Permanent and total is another rating that has protections associated with it. I'm 100% permanent and total. But I know they've reduced veterans with 100% permanent total and not just filing a claim, which is dumb to do. Don't do it unless you've been. Right. But it's happened in other situations, has it not?
Right. So permanent total is a misnomer. I mean,
it's not protected.
Yeah. When I first saw this, like permanent total, I was like, okay, great. I'm walking off in the sunset. But
done deal.
But permanent total, what it's supposed to mean is that your rating is not going to change. Meaning the VA looks at you and says, okay, you're not going to get better. We're going to leave you alone. But that doesn't mean they can't just change their mind and come back and try to reduce you through an exam. So permanent total, what it means is that you are not going to be actively reduced, is what the VA is supposed to say.
Or actually, another way to maybe phrase that is there's no routine future exam scheduled.
That's the way to put it.
And that's it. That's the only way to put it.
Right, because if you put in a claim for increase on that issue, you've just scheduled your
right.
CFP.
So you could trigger a new exam, and there's probably 5 things in the M21-1 adjudication manual that can magically happen if things line up wrong. Like right now, there's no routine future exams, but they could be. Watch your ass, protect yourself. It could happen, and it does happen.
If the VA is screwing around with your back pay and your effective dates and you want to challenge it and you don't know what to do, you might want to check out the sponsor of today's video, Hill and Ponton. Check them out at hillandponton.com.
Here's one that's not really a rule, but it kind of is because it's called the 55-year-old rule, even though it's not actually one of the rules. What's up with that?
It seems to be one they've kind of implicitly taken in that if you are over 55, the VA will assume that your disability is static, meaning it's not going to improve. Therefore, they're not going to send you to an exam versus, as Craig was saying earlier, they'll send you to routine exams on most other disabilities that are not permanent total. So if you're over 55, they're going to assume that it's not going to get better and just leave you alone on that unless you decide to file a claim for increase or unless they just change their mind and start reducing people, which unfortunately is not above them.
So a lot of people have 100% ratings, not permanent in total, not looking at your rating code sheet. You don't know what is not considered static. Let's say you don't know what's going on. I'm 56 years old. Would that be a good time for me to ask for PNT?
I definitely think so because, as you know, 100% pays the max for scheduler. Let's just leave that there.
Yep.
But there's all these secondary benefits you get from the state,
PNT,
from the federal government,
and they're huge. PNT, there's it's almost like different ratings.
Right. Yep. So you definitely want to get that.
All right, I think that pretty much covers the protections. My strategy is always have medical evidence. You have a medical disability, you're getting paid for it, especially at the 100% level. You could probably take a couple hours out of your year to go see the doctor, and you should be doing it because you're disabled. If you're not disabled anymore, that's probably not true.
Well, and I will say this, now that I've had a chance to enter this compound bunker, I could see why I would never want to leave, and why Craig would never leave, but he still does get his treatment. And that is so
Yeah.
key, guys. You want to make sure that you have a paper record. So if the VA comes at you 10 years later and they say, we want to reduce you, you say, hey, look at these hundreds of pages right here. I've been treating, and guess what? The damn thing is not getting better.
Yep.
So if he can leave his bunker, you can leave yours.
That's a good point. Can we trademark that?
Yeah. Put that up there.
All right, cool. Thanks for helping us walk through this.
No problem.